You're on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to City Council meeting. Today is Monday, November 4th, 2024. It's approximately 1 p.m. I am Mayor Eric Enriquez. Before we start, I want to mention that we have the ASL, American Sign Language Interpreter, available for every regular council meeting. And we will start with a moment of silence for the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces as they protect our interests around the globe, as well as the courageous men and women of the Las Cruces Police and Las Cruces Fire Department as they keep our city safe 24/7. Councilor Graham, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here's my cue sheet. Next, we have our presentations and certificates of proclamations. Councilor Graham will do the proclamation for Las Cruces Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims.
Thank you, Mayor. And Barbara Toth, would you like to join me? And anyone else? I see some other avid road users and cyclists out here. Thank you. The proclamation reads, whereas the third Sunday of November is acknowledged internationally as a day of remembrance for road traffic victims, and whereas violence on our roadways is rampant, killing 40,490 persons in the U.S. in 2023, 407 of them in New Mexico, and whereas 29 of those lives were lost in Doña Ana County, and whereas traffic fatalities and serious injuries are responsible for tremendous suffering of victims, families, and emergency services, and recognizing that our entire community bears the burden and expense of this continuing epidemic, and whereas we affirm the particular vulnerability of cyclists, pedestrians, and other users of active transportation of all ages, we also recognize that persons who get around our community by other means than motor vehicles deserve to do so without fear of death or serious injury. And whereas we wish to promote and support walking and cycling as viable and safe mobility options for recreation and commuting, and whereas safe streets and roads contribute to the health, equity, and sustainability of communities, and whereas we recognize that deadly collisions are largely preventable. Therefore, any more than 0 fatalities is unacceptable. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim November 17th, 2024 as Las Cruces Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims. Signed by our Mayor, Eric Enriquez, and attested by our City Clerk, Christine Rivera.
Mayor and City Councilors, thank you so much for your support and your understanding that this vitally important topic is not only affecting other cities, it's affecting our community and very seriously. So I appreciate your recognition of that. I do hope that you'll join us on the 17th as we gather. We're going to name the names of those who have lost their lives in our community, and that's important. That's meaningful. But far more meaningful, far more profound way to honor those persons is to make the kind of choices in our public policy and those things that we enforce in our community that guarantee that the kind of situations in which they lost their lives are things of the past. Won't you join us in making that happen, please? And thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Graham. Next, we have Jobs of the Week, Sarah Rainey.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Sarah Rainey. I am the one-stop coordinator for the Southwest region of the New Mexico workforce. For the Jobs of the Week, we have a food service worker for the city of Las Cruces. It begins at 15:02 an hour, and the posting closes on the 11th. We also have a permit technician 2 for the city. That one starts at 18:07, and the posting closes on the 18th. For White Sands Missile Range, we have a ground support equipment mechanic. That's for SA Tech. The posting closes on the 20th. We have a warehouse associate, forklift associate, part-time for Loaves and Fishes. That one is a new posting, starting at 12:36 an hour. Posting closes on the 27th. We have multiple positions, including heavy equipment mechanic, service desk tech, inmate program specialist, assistant HR admin, and more at Doña Ana County. They have quite a few postings open. If you need those, check those out on our website as well. Retail sales supervisor for Staples. That one closes on the 30th. As always, come check us out at 226 South Alameda or on any of our social medias. We also have the app that I haven't mentioned in a while, but please download that and you can get all of our updates on jobs and local events around the region. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Pets of the Week, so we have none this week. Next is conflict of interest. Does any member of the city council, city manager, or any member of the city staff have any known conflict of interest with any item on the agenda?
None by Flores.
None, Graham.
None.
Next, we have public participation. We'll allow up to 3 minutes. No discussions of pending litigation or items on the non-consent. And we'll have Scott Rogers here. He'll assist you in ushering you up to the podium.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, and Chief of Police. How is it possible that Las Cruces has now become a dumping ground for homeless, illegals, and drug addicts from
Sir,
all?
did you state your name for the record?
Tim Jenkins. Might have forgotten. Sorry about that. How is it possible that Las Cruces has now become a dumping ground for homeless, illegals, and drug addicts from all over the nation? Why is it that people are being dumped here for us to deal with when in fact we can't even take care of the ones that are here in our own city? Who is getting kickbacks for all this mess, and who is promoting this, and why is this happening? About 2 months ago, our police department, our resource officers, codes enforcement, and mano a mano spent 5 to 6 hours cleaning up the entire dirt lot across the street from Craig and Taggart. It was literally clean for less than 2 days, before it had tins and trash all over again. The city-owned Arroyo next to Bubba's that literally took me 3 weeks to get completely cleaned up is again full of tins and trash. And all the no trespassing signs that I personally paid for out of my own pocket have been ripped down and are gone. And how is it possible that the Scottsdale Police Department is issuing $50 bus tickets to any drug addicts or homeless people wandering the streets of Scottsdale to come here straight to Las Cruces? We keep talking about housing and housing and housing, but it seems to me that the housing is a very small fraction of a much bigger problem that only seems to be getting worse and worse every single day. What are we actually doing to solve the bigger problem here? Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Mayor, Council, Juan Garcia. When is enough enough? Drugs are poisoning our streets. Criminals are emboldened by the lack of consequences. Small businesses are dying, leaving behind a landscape that resembles a hurricane-ravaged ghost town. It's time for change. Insanity is defined as voting for the same politicians and expecting different results. Look at the time in office of the following legislators who, in my opinion, by their lack of decisive action, have empowered criminals and endangered our families. Hamlin, 4 years. Cadena, 4 years. Ferrari, 6. Rubio, New Mexico House District 35, who many will argue represents ground zero for crime in Las Cruces, 6 years. Lara, 4, and Small, 6. On the Senate side, Cervantes, 22 years. Of course, that includes House and Senate. Souls, 10, and Steinborn, 16. A plague of violence has consumed our city since 2019, with these politicians at its rotten core. They all have been in the New Mexico legislature for every step of this terrifying rise. They've enabled the chaos that's making Las Cruces trend towards a crime-ridden nightmare with their protect the criminal ideology. Public safety is a human right, but these politicians have trampled it. Remember when they tried to disarm lawful gun owners, try to make it illegal to purchase a large capacity magazine unless you're over 21. But it's okay to terminate the life of an unborn without age restrictions and parental consent. The same elected officials, Cadena, Ferrari, Jaramillo, Rubio, Small, Cervantes, Hamlin, Souls, and Steinborn, voted to force school teachers to secretly help children access transgender surgeries and abortions with no parental notification. Every single one of these politicians is on the ballot. You hear, save our democracy is the desperate cry used for fear-mongering. Our progressive friends shouted, but their actions have brought us to the precipice of collapse. Las Cruces, our city is becoming a war zone. Our people are enslaved by drugs they've allowed to flood our streets. Our businesses are covered in plywood. Our children are their next victims. Will you or will we succumb to their deadly policies, or will we rise up and reclaim what's left of our city? The power is ours. Let's act with determination, not insanity, and vote to create a city where there is individual accountability and consequences, and not a legislature who gives, in my opinion, a free pass to criminals. Think before you vote. Thank you.
Howdy, my name's Lonnie Montgomery, Mr. Mayor, council people.
Sir, can you speak
Yeah.
directly into the microphone and state your name?
My name is Lonnie Montgomery. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. And I got interrupted by that thing last time, so I'm going to start right there. But like I started before, I'm going to pray for you guys. So, dear Lord God, bring wise decisions from these people that they may do from this, like the man before us, that we can get our city straightened out. But we ask that they consider things very carefully and take care of the people that they are serving. In Jesus' name I pray. Okay, I stopped because when I stopped, God and a man by the name of Waltire and myself had agreed that there's no such thing as a transgender. God's created a man and a woman. And according to Poirier, his book is called Paper Genders. And the only place you can change that is on paper. You can change your license, you can change your birth certificate, you can change that, but you can't change your gender. No matter how much you get the other hormones in you and the other ones out, when you die or whatever, they can take your bones and they can figure it out that you were a male or a female. And So that you really can't tell, but he knows because he was changed from a man to a woman and back again. And he says that the people who have gender identity disorder, they are often pushed into it by, like somebody said, the teachers. And in New Mexico, you don't have to inform parents that this is happening, among other things. Suicide, changing, helping to change your people and their kids in that area right there. And then I'm going to speak to transgender athletes. These are guys who can't make it. They just can't make it in 400 and something. And Leah, who is the swimmer of the year, no matter what he does, he's still going to be a man. And even Bruce Jenner, or whatever he calls himself now, agrees they should not be playing in this area with women. We fight so hard for Title IX, and then we throw it away. It's gone. So I'm going to stop now and tell you right now, when you go home, be sure to practice your Mandarin. And dear Lord, please bless the city and the county and the state, and especially the U.S., Lord, and keep us in your care. And thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good morning. My name's Jim Hurst. I want to address the comments made by Lonnie Montgomery at the last meeting. I agree with Lonnie on one thing. We need to talk about the role of religion in our society, but I disagree with Lonnie on many other ideas. No, America was not founded on biblical principles. America rejected at least 3 biblical principles, and we are most fortunate for having done so. The first biblical principle America rejected was monarchy, the rule by divine right. Romans 13 taught that all authority was derived from God. All who held the authority were given it by God, and those who opposed authority opposed God. The implication of Romans 13 is that some were born noble and empowered to govern, and some were born common and destined to be subjects. America said all are created equal. Another biblical principle America rejected, though it took far too long to fully realize, was slavery. The Bible taught slaves to submit to their masters, thus implying that some were created to be slaves and some were created to be masters. The Declaration of Independence asserted that all were created free and equal. Misogyny, the idea that women were born to be servants of men, is another biblical principle America rejected. The Bible commands in the same way it tells children to obey their parents. Wives, obey your husband. 1 Corinthians 11:3 declares the head of the woman is man. It took thousands of years, but we know better than that now. Americans believe that men and women are equal. If you don't believe that, you men try to convince your wives, mother, boss, co-workers, and daughters otherwise. Of course, not everything in the Bible is wrong, but the progress of America and all of humanity in the last few centuries has been realized by rejecting biblical principles determined to be irrational. Humanity is far better off being governed by reason than by holy books. That's why it's fortunate that our Constitution specifies freedom of religion and separation between church and state. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council, Mayor. I'm Jennifer Cry. And I just thought public input was going to be way too short. I wanted to get up and say thank you for all your attention and hard work.
Okay, thank you. Next is a closed meeting statement for today, November 4th. The City of Las Cruces City Council met in closed session at 11:05 a.m. This morning. The following members were in attendance: Mayor Enriquez, Councilor McClure, Councilor Graham, and Councilor Flores. Staff was Brad Douglas, Barbara Bencomo, Chief Jeremy Story, Sonia Delgado, Ikani Tamapayao, J.C. Borrego, and Christine Rivera. We discussed, was to discuss pending or threatening litigations in the matter of Juliana Reyes, which is closed pursuant to New Mexico State Statute 1978, Section 1015-1H7. That's all that was discussed, and the meeting adjourned at 11:13 a.m. Next, we'll have acceptance of agenda.
So moved by Flores.
Second, Graham.
This is on a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran is absent. Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo is absent. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you.
So next we have our resolutions, ordinances for discussion. 8.1, Resolution 25-056, a resolution authorizing the City of Las Cruces to accept a grant award in the amount of $175,000 from the New Mexico Department of Transportation.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, McClure.
Mayor, Councilor, I apologize. Our grant manager is supposed to be presenting this and she's not here yet. So I am going to start this and hopefully she will be in.
I think she's coming in behind you, Leanne.
Is she okay? I'll have it up before she gets here. Is that the correct one? No. No? Sorry. I need to put my glasses on to run down the stairs. Okay. That's the next one. Yeah. That's the one? Okay, great. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mayor, councilors, city staff. I'm Gabriela Prats, the city's grant manager, and before you is a resolution, had to run down the stairs, sorry, to accept a grant award from the New Mexico Department of Transportation's Que Linda program. Que Linda is a new beautification funding program, and its goal is to increase the number of programs as well as make existing local beautification programs more sustainable. The program also supplements other state funding for beautification programs, such as the New Mexico Tourism's Department's Clean and Beautiful grant program, which we have a grant for in the Parks and Recreation Department for Keep Las Cruces Beautiful, and the New Mexico Environment Department's Recycling and Illegal Dumping Fund, or the RAID Fund, which we also have a grant from them for the composting project through Las Cruces Utilities. NMDOT requires a resolution from council supporting the grant and designating signature authority for the award. The grant is being made to the Parks and Recreation Department through the New Mexico Department of Transportation for $175,000. The funds will be used to augment the Keep Las Cruces Beautiful program efforts, such as contracting a litter abatement team, school-wide cleanup days in partnership with the Las Cruces Public Schools, educational anti-litter campaign presentations, as well as they want to revive the Adopt a Spot program, as well as free weekend events at the collection centers, which will include taking tires, which is something the community asks for often. Here are your council options, and I stand for questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions by council? Seeing none. Now it's Christine. Christine.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-056. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Coran is absent. Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent. And Mayor?
Yes. Good. Next is 8.2, Resolution Number 25-057, a resolution amending contract 2021-054 Axion Las Cruces Police Department cameras with Axion Enterprise of Scottsdale, Arizona, to increase the contract amount by $446,000.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, McClure.
Good afternoon, Mayor, councilors. My name is Virginia Varela, Buyer 2 with the Financial Services Department. And before you today is a resolution to approve an amendment to contract 20-21-054 LCPD body-worn cameras. The City of Las Cruces Police Department initiated a body-worn camera project in 2014, supplying a limited number of officers with body-worn cameras. At that time, LCPD deployed 140 body cameras in the field with an additional 10 cameras in inventory to be utilized as backups. The cameras and data management and maintenance system used to store video evidence being utilized were procured through Axon Enterprises Incorporated. In addition to the body cameras, Axon also supplies LCPD with its Taser brand of non-lethal electrical weapons, which interconnect with the body-worn cameras. In 2020, LCPD wished to expand the program, increasing the inventory of body-worn cameras to all officers. LCPD wanted to utilize this expansion as an opportunity to upgrade the current cameras that they had in their inventory, which were now out of date. And it would also put us in compliance with New Mexico Senate Bill 8, which went into effect the same year, requiring that all law enforcement officers who routinely interact with the public are to wear body-worn cameras while on duty. Las Cruces Municipal Code 24-7A does allow the city to award contract without competition. When after a good faith review by the purchasing manager, it is determined that substantial duplicate costs to the city that is not expected to be recovered through competition will occur. On November 16th, 2020, the City Council approved procurement 20-21-054 to procure the body cameras with Axon Enterprises of Scottsdale and Arizona. It was for a 5-year term, which would take us through November 15th, 2025, in a not to exceed amount of $1,814,474.22. In the first year, we brought forth an amendment to council to add a redaction software to this, and that increased the contract total, $63,700, and made the new contract not to exceed amount $1,878,174.22, This did not affect the term of the contract, with the expiration date still being in November 2025. So before you today, we are asking to increase this contract due to an increase in the amount of cameras that we have purchased for new police officers that have been put into staff. That has required us to purchase more cameras. It has required us to purchase more software and more licenses for that software. This will increase the contract amount by $446,625.57, leaving a new contract total of $2,324,799.79. Before you are your council options, and I stand for questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions by council? Councilor McClure.
Okay, I had a quick question. Back in 2020, was when the Senate bill went in, did they allocate any funds for municipalities for the use of the body cameras?
Mayor, councilors, I will have to divert that question over to Chief Story.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, Jeremy Story, Police Chief. No, that was an unfunded mandate, so when the requirement came down, there was no funding attached to the Senate Bill 8. However, at that time, we already equipped all of our police officers, commissioned officers, with body cameras. So we were already in compliance initially.
Thank you, that's all I had.
Councilor Flores.
Thank you for your presentation. In terms of the history, you said that in 2014, body cameras for the police department. What? You can't hear me? Are you kidding? Why? Why not? Okay, I'm sorry about that. Body cameras, and what I understood was that you got the police department had the tasers and the body and then the cameras. Did they go hand in hand, or I misunderstood that part?
Mayor, councilors, so the police department did own body cameras.
Yeah.
And they are interconnected with the tasers that they own.
And how are they interconnected?
I will also have to defer to Chief Story for the answer on that one.
That was actually my question.
Mayor, Councilor Flores, so Axon, which is the company we're talking about originally, was called Taser. And so they're the ones who manufactured the very first tasers and then all the different iterations. So the company that makes our body cameras and our tasers is obviously the same company. And so they're designed so they work together. For instance, if your body camera is not recording and you turn your taser on, it automatically starts recording your body camera and everybody within a certain radius. So there's kind of a checks and balance between the two products.
So does that mean that if the camera's turned on, the taser's functioning, or does it work that way too?
No, it doesn't work in the reverse.
Okay. All right, that was my first question. Thank you, Chief, and thank you. Let me have one more question. What does reaction software mean?
Councilor, Mayor, I will also have to defer to Chief Story on that.
Mayor, Councilor Flores, so we have received an increasing amount of IPRA requests or public records requests. I think today, year to date, we're at 1,849 just for the police department. So the redaction software is a tool that our IPRA staff uses to go through the body camera footage and then apply a redaction to things that are allowed by law to redact or to exempt.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Miss. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-057. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran is absent. Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is 8.3, Resolution Number 25058, a resolution authorizing the City of Las Cruces to accept a budget adjustment allocating funds in the American Rescue Plan Act.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, McClure.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. For the record, my name is Leanne Demush, and I am your Finance Director. This is a very small budget adjustment for the American Rescue Plan Act. We're moving some funds from one department to another department, which is part of our charter, says that if you move between departments, organizational units, you have to bring that to council. But we're also changing the purpose of these funds, which through the ARPA needs to be addressed through council as well. So just a little bit of background. As you know, the city received 2 tranches of $12.4 million each. This was for direct relief to aid governments in response and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Funding is used to support various focus areas to maximize the impact in Las Cruces. And the funds must be obligated by December 31st of 2024, which, while you know, is almost about a month and a half away, and spent by December 31st of 2026. So back in September, we brought to you an update. What we're doing here is, one of the updates that we brought to you was the septage, the water and sewer projects, which was the septage tank elimination. They had about $1.3 million in funding. Their expected completion date was September 30th. It's a little bit over that because they have a couple of bills that they need to finish paying. And guess what? They ran out of their ARPA funding. And so they've converted all these households, and they still have a couple of invoices that they need to pay. We have additional funding and administration that we are willing to transfer from the finance department into the utilities to pay up that is the $6,400 to finish paying for this septage tank elimination project, and it will be finalized. It will be done. And so with that, these are your council options.
Okay, thank you, Leanne. Any questions? Councilor Flores?
Thank you, Leanne. I thought you were gone.
No, ma'am, this is my last week. This is my last council and my last council presentation to all of you.
Oh, well, I'm certainly going to miss you, I'm sure.
Well, I
Everybody else will
appreciate that
too.
very much. Thank you, Councilor.
You're welcome. In terms of what area, what part of the town or what district are these septic tanks being installed?
That is a really great question, Councilor, which we went over back in September. Let me see if there's somebody from
Public Works? Oh, yeah, Carl's here.
Carl. They're at the end.
Okay. Can I hop through it?
Yeah, go ahead if you want to. Just keep on going down. There you go.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilors. Carl Clark, Assistant Utilities Director. So there's the map there that's showing some of the areas and the council districts where we did the improvements. The green are the ones that we completed. The yellow actually are completed now, so everything that you see in color there or highlighted has been completed. So that's Council District 2, Sullivan Subdivision. There's District 4. You can see we did 4 in that area. And then we have a bunch over in Hacienda Acres that we completed as well. That's Council District 6. I believe that's the last of them. Yep, that's the last of them. So that's all the council districts that we covered.
You know, I'm wondering, there are still some homes in District 6 that I'm aware of that still haven't been, the septic tanks haven't been replaced by sewage. So is there anything in the works for that? No pun intended.
Mayor, Councilor Flores, we will be applying for some state legislative monies, but after spending all the ARPA money, that we don't have any more money available to help connect people at this time. But
so would we be asking next legislature?
Yes, this next go round.
This
yes.
next round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Leanne.
Thanks, Carl.
Councilor Matisse?
I was just going to ask Mr. Clark a question. Thank you. Sorry, Leanne. And we'll miss you. You're always quick to the microphone. If I could you bring up District 2 slide again? And when you say it's completed, what's actually completed?
Mayor, Councilor Matisse, It's the highlighted lots that you see on that map. Those have been tied into the system totally. The ones that don't have any highlights on those property parcels, they either selected that they weren't going to do it or they weren't part of the priority levels that we initiated originally.
Okay,
So,
if I remember correctly, it was over 300, and so how many have you completed?
Mayor, Councilor Batiste, there's over 400 that need to be done.
400.
Yeah, and we only completed 71 with the money that we received.
Okay. And then we're making a pitch to the state for more funds.
We'll be making a pitch to the state for that type of money to connect customers.
Okay. Can we kind of prioritize that to do all the ones in District 2 before we go to 6 and 4?
Mayor,
No.
councilors, that'll be up to you
I'll
all
only
later
kidding.
on. Yeah,
I'll
so-
only kidding. Thank you, thank you. Yeah.
I do have a question for Mr. Clark, if I may.
Oh, go ahead, Councilor.
Thank you. So Carl, so only some of the, by way of example, District 2 and then the District 4, I think it was. So does that mean that the aim of the city or the goal the city has is to replace all of the sewage tanks with appropriate sewage?
With the municipal sewer. Okay, so Mayor, Councilor Flores, the goal is actually part of our septic replacement projects
Septic,
update in 2008. So there was a study done by CDM Smith back in 2008 where they looked at everybody that was on septics within the city limits, and they identified the priorities. So we have a top, high, middle, and low priority.
And what qualifies as top, middle?
Top is within 1,000 feet next to the city water well.
Ah, I
Because
see.
we don't want to be drawing any of that septic into our water wells.
So are all of those taken care of? Is that, no, there's still some out there.
Mayor, Council Flores, so we've done a lot of improvements or put in municipal sewer in different areas of the city. And the ones that have top priority have been somewhat addressed in regards to having municipal sewer close proximity to the houses, but they may not have connected. Those were some of those that we reached out with the matrix that we put together when we received the ARPA funding. We listed all the top areas, and those were the first ones we hit. It had to do with being in the top area and low to moderate income. And so in our matrix, it brought everything to the top, and then we reached out to those residents. And unfortunately, we couldn't force them onto it, so they had to choose to be on it or to be a part of the ARPA money. Some turned it down. Some said, no, we don't want it. Some didn't respond. We knocked on the doors, and they still didn't want it. But some didn't respond, and we knocked on the doors, and they did want it. So we worked with everybody out in those areas.
Okay, so even though it was fully funded, there were some residents who did not want it. But isn't it a health and safety issue? Don't you think that we should have, you know, because there's seepage happening all the time with those, you know, sewers, so, or the septic tanks. So is there anything that the city can do insofar as, besides asking for money? I think asking the legislature is fine, of course. It's our taxes anyway. But it seems to me that if we present some efforts to educate our community, we would probably have some data to present to the appropriate legislators.
Yeah, Mayor, Council Flores, so this is the first time we've ever been offered money to be able to do that for the customer side, but it's something that actually went over very well, and it was received very well. It is very expensive in that aspect whenever we do that work. I mean, we end up paying more just because we are the municipality and there's certain things they have to do to provide us with a cost. I wholeheartedly would love to get additional legislative funding. There is an ordinance in place that requires people to tie in within a year of the sewer main being installed. However, there's no funding available for them. And there is no teeth in that ordinance that says you'll be fined X. So it just leaves it open.
Huh. Well.
And so that was, when that ordinance came about a couple years ago, maybe three or four, Adrian Widmer, the director of utilities, brought that forward to council. And that was the decision made by council, was not to put any penalties for those that don't tie.
Yeah, well, it's adding insult to injury in that place. But it'd be good if we could get some money from the feds, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, I think there's resources, there's money from the federal government for this sort of stuff, isn't there?
Mayor, Councilor First, I would assume there possibly is, and we do request that, and we are going to request it more heavily now, so we can start getting these people transferred over. But it's out of my hands. All I could do is request and then hope that it comes in.
Great. Well, thank you for your work. I appreciate it, Mr. Clark.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
No, thank you, Councilor Flores. Anyone else? Leanne, just want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you. You're going to be missed, but I can say that I've had the pleasure of working hand in hand with you for a number of years, and just want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for all you've done for this city and for the finance department, fleet, utilities, and so forth and so on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I really appreciate it. If you're ever in traveling down Route 66 and going through Missouri, you're going to go through St. James, Missouri. That's where I'm going to be. Please look me up. So I appreciate all of your support during my 13 and a half years with the city. Thank you so much.
May I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Leanne, I would like to thank you. I remember meeting you. I had just been elected and met with you. I didn't know, from anything. And you said, what would you like to see in your district? And I said, what? What would I like to see? And you said, yes, what would you like to see? And I thought, it's that easy? Why don't we already have it? Well, minor detail. Oh, we need money for those projects. But anyway, I want to thank you for always being there and being very resourceful and helpful and making our city better. And the city will miss you. I certainly will. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Counselor. I appreciate it.
Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-058. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran is absent. Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent. And Mayor?
Yes. Next is board appointments. So it's a new appointment to Capital Improvements Advisory Committee, so I'll need a motion and a second to appoint Cynthia Enriquez.
So moved, Graham.
Second, McClure.
This is on the motion to appoint Cynthia Enriquez to the CIAC. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran is absent. Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent. And Mayor?
Yes, and for the record, no relation.
Correct.
Yeah. Next, we have City Council member board reports and comments. We'll start with Cassie McClure.
None, thank you.
None.
Just real quick.
Yes, go.
No, just, I'm sure no one needs a reminder, but tomorrow is Election Day, last day to make your voice heard. And despite all of the anxiety and angst and all of the other AN words that you might be feeling about the election, I hope that you, like me, also see it as a celebration. I love Election Day. Voting is a privilege and an honor, and it's something that my grandmother made Election Days into a holiday when I was a little kid, and that's back when you would actually go in and pull a curtain and pull a lever. So I like to think that her spirit and her civic duty is a lot of the reason why I'm here right now. And it just makes me think about it. And please find a moment to smile on Election Day and think about the beauty of making your voice heard, even if you're otherwise have a big old knot in your stomach like me. Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilman Matisse.
I just want to share something. I saw a sign this morning And it was at C.W. Ward's building, and it said, "Politicians are temporary, but Wu-Tang is forever."
Councilor Flores.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Councilor Grant, for sharing that. Voting for me is a very similar experience. My parents were ardent voters, and my father was a naturalized citizen. My mother was born in the USA. But I always felt proud when we walked, and the voting took place at our elementary school, the auditorium. And it was just such a big deal to walk into the auditorium when you're not supposed to be there, or at night, whatever. So yeah, that was highly ingrained in our family. And so we're very fortunate to live in a country that the people speak, and then we get our leaders. So the other. So thank you for your comments. It really does bring back happy memories. But the next thing I'm going to talk about is not so happy. It's just these past 2 weeks in my district, or maybe in the last week, there has been one incident of a loud party going on in a quiet community, in a cul-de-sac, in fact. And I believe there was some shootings. I don't know if anybody died. I haven't followed up on that. And then today, this morning, I learned that there was another thing, and that was the one that happened over this past weekend is near my home. The one that I learned about this morning happened on the north side of Highway 70. It's a new area for me, after our, after we did our redistricting. And these are all very quiet areas, but apparently people are beginning to feel that they can meet in masses and make a lot of noise till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I just want to say that I find that very, very saddening, and I want to thank our police department for being out there and putting themselves, at peril in the line of duty, and for no good reason. I mean, it's not like it's, anyway, I don't understand why it's happening. Well, maybe I could, but we won't go into that. It'd be a whole semester. Thank you.
Okay, just wanted to mention a couple of things. Adrian Wimmer, Utilities, thank you and your staff. Friday, we were invited to the Utilities. They had a rodeo day, a lot of fun, entertainment, food, but where they got an opportunity to show off their skills through various competitions, from backhoes to meters to the skid unit. And Councilor McClure was there, and she participated and did a tremendous job on that skid. I think she placed. She got some hardware. Okay, I made that part up. But she did extremely well. It was like an obstacle course, and she did well. But thanks for participating. Our city manager was there as well. But it was a great day, a great event, and thanks for the invite. And thanks for all you do at Utilities. That also, again, a reminder that the Veterans Parade will be this Saturday at downtown at 11 a.m. And I encourage everyone to get out and vote as well. And next week I'll be out at the National League of Cities, where the city of Las Cruces will be receiving a lifetime award for being a member of National League of Cities for 50 years. So I'll be attending that and receiving that for the city of Las Cruces. All right. She was going to ask where. Yeah, that's for the city. Tampa, Florida. No, rough. Thank you, Councilor Flores. With that, I'll turn it over to the city manager for his comments.
Thank you, Mayor Enriquez, City Council, Connie Tomopiao, City Manager. And I just wanted to keep this short and simple. Tomorrow is voting day, as we all know. And from this seat and from staff, we stick to the facts here, so I'll share what the facts are. We have a GRT on the ballot. This would be the first increase in about 10 years. If it passes, this would produce about $11 million for us on average a year for public safety, for road, park improvements, and critical infrastructure. GRT is paid by everyone who purchases goods and services in Las Cruces, from city council, from city, county residents, and tourists and visitors, not just residents. The increase amounts to about 32 cents for every $100. GRT is not collected on groceries and not collected on medicine in New Mexico. If it passes, the change will go into effect July 2025. As mentioned, key projects could include a new downtown public safety facility, indoor recreational facility, needed improvements to streets, parks, etc. I've had the opportunity in this past week to meet with our construction team, which includes Public Works, includes end-user departments such as Parks and Rec, City Manager's Office, Quality of Life, museums, libraries, and our Planning and Innovation team. In this meeting, we were presented a list of capital projects amounts up to $787 million worth of projects that are the total amount of funds that are needed to complete these projects, and we don't have these funds. This is a picture of, and this is a fact. It's a fact that is the total amount, and with the costs of infrastructure and construction increasing on average about 40% per annum, it's been challenging for us as a city to figure out how to make the ends meet. One of the options, that's why what you see on the ballot is a GRT. It's been 10 years since there's been an increase, and so this has been our approach. Council approved this, and this is where we'll leave it in the hands of the voters. I just wanted to share that, bring that to light as this is what we're dealing with, many projects, many demands, and at the end of the day, we reach out to the state, and they say the state has a lot of money, but for the last, and they do their best. Representatives, legislators don't, they are allocated funds. Governor, they're allocated funds, but there's only so much that they can do. So here's the facts. In recent years, they've only given, and which has been very gracious for them, but they've given us an average of $11 million for varying projects. $11 million, which goes a long way to knocking the $787 million amount of projects. Now, we are grateful. There's many reps and legislators who are tracking. We've met with them. Those who have been able to meet, thank you so much for making that time. But this is what we're sharing. This is the situation. So I just wanted to share that to those as you go out, those who didn't vote. Tomorrow's voting day, and just wanted to put that out there as a consideration to those who still have to make a decision. So thank you all. Thank you, City Council, Mayor, for your time.
Thank you, Connie. Christine, we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved by Flores.
Second, Graham. This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran is absent. Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. All right, thank you all.